Steelers would become champions. Oh, 67. And then he's a Westman. The first game in the thousands. The Steelers would become champions.
Motherwell 0, Celtic 4 at Ford Park tonight in the League Cup Scottish Cup quarter final. Celtic manager Ange made 5 changes to the Celtic lineup. In came Seagrass, Jovanovic, Vickers, Jens, Greg Taylor, Aaron Moy, Matt O'Reilly, Hayate, Abada, Kyogo, and Hak Sabanovic. Goals from Abada, 2. Rocket or classic from Rio Hate, whatever you want to call it. And Kyogo gets back on the score sheet after he tapped in a rebound that hit the post from Obada. This is Celtic Rumours TV match reaction with Mark and myself. Welcome to the show. Mark, the changes were made again by Ange. James Forrest must be looking going after getting a hat-trick and getting century goals at the weekend.
I was surprised to see him. I was surprised to see him no starting, but I was even more surprised to see him not even getting on the pitch, Paul.
Yeah, especially Mark. He must be thinking Denmark. Like, do you know what it is, Mark? It reminded me of last season. One player drops out after scoring 2 goals. Another player comes in. He scores 2 goals. Do you get me? It reminded me of Celtic last season, and that's what we want. You know, if you're going to be, I would say, dropped, rested. You have to take your chance, Mark, when you get it.
You think that Forrest took his chance, it just shows you, but I'll do a wee few shout-outs, Paul, and get things before we get starting going. Thanks everybody that's coming in the new. That's kind of threw me off. A few shout-outs there to Tim Alloy, Richie and his family off the forum on a Glasgow Green. Brian will not be in the night, Paul. I got a note off Brian's mum. He's been off. He's got a sore tummy. So Brian G will not be joining us tonight. I'm kidding. He's working. He just messaged saying he wouldn't be in the night because he was working. There's Jabber. Nice to see you, Jabber. Bobby's always there. Nice to see you, Bobby. Celtic Forever. Nice to see you, mate. So I'm going to put a link. I don't know if this will work. See if this works. Go and follow this guy, wee Celtic Forever's channel. He does Celtic videos and he's doing... They're good videos, so I'll try and put a link in for it if that comes up.
Great videos of the Celtic fans and stuff like that. Yeah, great videos.
Doing well there, Celtic Forever, mate. Well, good stuff, bud. Who was that? I missed a name there. Al Alexander C. Thanks very much for coming in as well. Good to see you, mate.
That's Rob.
Oh, is that? Oh, so Rob, it is, right.
Yeah,
right,
Rob,
Alec, right. Aye, right. Got you now. You know.
We always make that mistake.
I know. People get different names on different things in that. We're at 609 or 10 subs. Thanks everybody at subs. Thanks very much to everybody that listens, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's through Celtic News now or any other Spotify or stuff like that. The links to everything, our forum, Discord group, our video game Discord groups, and everything's in the description box below through the link tree. So come out to the forum. Every Celtic fan's more than welcome there for a bit of cracking, a bit of arguing about the team and stuff like that. Yeah, that's us, buddy boy. On you go, Paul.
So let's just before we move on, Mark, we'll just get the stats up there quickly. Shots Celtic 20 to Motherwell's 5, on target 9 to Celtic 3 to Motherwell. Possession 65% to their 35. Passes 582 to their 310. Pass accuracy was 82. Is this the most the game at the weekend, Mark? These 2 games we seem to be getting more shots on target than the last time. I think the last couple of games we had, I think it was about 20 shots, only about 2 in target. So this seems to be
that was game, Paul. We could have been 6 or 8 goals the other night. Kyogo again missed a good few sitters. Delighted to see the wee man get his goal right enough, but he missed a good few sitters there again.
But is he that type of striker, Mark? We know he's not no strike, but he's that type of player needs about 2-3 chances before he gets a goal.
Well, he didn't used to. He wasn't like that last year,
No.
Paul.
No.
But I mean, saying that as well, he missed a lot of last year through injury, so maybe it's a bit of a false balance or whatever kind of thing. But he's nowhere near as clinical as Big Gio. you get what I mean? He's an out and out penalty box striker. For me, he should be starting. Just for that alone, he's just the best out and out striker at the club. But
he wasn't missing that chance, Mark. With Kyogo today, so he wasn't.
No.
Really wasn't. Like
we can't really sit and moan when we've just come back off a 4-0 win.
No, I'm not.
The performance again, it seems to be getting back into the kind of what we were more used to.
I was just thinking, Mark, to myself there watching the match, and I'll just call it a little blip that we had. Like, we were still picking up results, we were still winning, and we lost one. But do you think, with no European football and just getting those results out of the system, that we're able to get a rhythm back in the league?
Well, I'm feeling a bit. Well, it's a big game on Saturday, obviously against Hearts at Tynecastle, and with this VAR coming in and that as well, you never know what's going to happen. But we do seem to have kind of turned a corner. I mean, we were all delighted with the result of the weekend, but we were thinking, this is going to be a 1-1, and it's going to be back to the turgid performances we've been used to the last few weeks. But it seems again tonight, as I say, the scoreline could have been a lot higher. In the first half, I thought against Celtic, wee passes and stuff, I thought I was really, really starting to get back to our best and outplaying teams, Paul. Do you get what I mean? We've said about how we were kind of getting back into that kind of Brendan Rodgers thing, you just passing the ball about the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
and trying to wait and then make a mistake. We were in there tonight.
Making space, Mark, for each other.
We were looking for it. We were looking for it tonight. We were hunting for it with the wee intricate passes about the box, trying to make our own space rather than make them make a mistake. So I'm delighted with that. And the thing about it is, Paul, the cup, whether we scrape by 1-0 or 25-0, you're in the next round, and that's all that really matters in the cup. It's good to get a good performance.
Mark. Do you know what I mean? You're always wary of it with these once-off games.
Because, I mean, that was a good chance they had as well. I'm not saying it would have made much difference to the result overall, I don't think, but again, it was just a wee bit.
Could it be the different game, though, Mark? 1-1 going in a half-time, though. You know, like you've seen, it could knock the players' confidence again. Like, you know, a mistake like that, Mark, could have knocked.
I thought Seagrass done all right. I didn't
know what, Mark?
think
I put up the live chat there tonight, and there was a few debates about it tonight. Like, I thought Seagrass looked fairly comfortable his feet tonight. You know, compared to what we heard Jonas saying on the podcast, it wasn't his strongest point, but you could see him, Mark, trying to play Andrew's way. You know there's work being done behind the scenes in it.
I wouldn't say he's any weaker or any better than Hart, to be honest, Paul.
Yeah, you know, because if Bain was in there, Mark, you would worry.
I think that would be a different kettle of fish, but I just think I've spoke about it a million times how hard it is for keepers that aren't used to playing that kind of with the ball at their feet, but they're trying to learn. Basically, keepers need to try and learn a bit of that, Paul, to maybe even stay in a job this kind of way, football's changed in that, but I wouldn't say Seagrass is any worse or any better really than Hart with the ball at his feet. There's always going to be...
what as well, Mark, it actually makes me think, does Ange actually rate Bain, because last season we saw Joe Hart play every single game bar that injury he picked up. He was playing all Scottish Cup games. He was playing all League Cup games. But this season, it seems to be Seagrass kind of taking the Cup games. You know?
I think Bain's maybe just been kept for the kind of homegrown rule, Paul. Something to do with that in Europe. Because I was totally surprised that he was still at the club when the window closed, because there was no way that we were signing Seagrass to no give him some kind of guarantee that he would get like the League Cup games or something like that. So I don't know why. I'm not slagging the guy off, but I really don't understand why he's still at the club unless it has got something just to do with that, like the homegrown rule thing.
Mark,
can you honestly see him getting a chance in the team?
No, Mark. If it was me, Mark, if Seagrass was injured, you know my thoughts on that. Like, I'd bring Toby in. Do you know what I mean? I would like. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't play Bain.
There's no way. See, like if Seagrass get injured, there's no way that Bain would be playing in the League Cup games. Do you get what I mean? There's no way that would be happening. Yeah,
Mark, I think we have to talk about the young lad Abada again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for a young lad, Mark, we saw him do it last season, get into these positions in the box, coming off the back post, getting in front of the defender. That's his first goal. the second goal, Mark, there's players in front of him. He has to place that ball, and he does it with confidence on the first touch. Like, the boy is just growing and growing and growing, you know?
Aye. But again, Paul, it's just about finding that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
The other week there was a lot of gurning and moaning about him and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you've got it's just doing him finding that consistency. But once he finds that consistency, Paul, putting in the kind of performances week in and week out, he's not going to be at Celtic much longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? That's the thing about it. It's these players, young players, they need to find consistency.
The problem, Mark, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? That the more he performs like that, Mark, you know there's teams down south that are going to be sniffing off him. There's going to be teams sniffing off Matt Riley, Mark, because I think he's actually growing more and more into that position. You see the tackles, man. You can see the difference between actually having him there and McGregor there. I mean, he's not afraid to play and tackle either. You know.
You're rustling. You eating sweeties? You eating sweeties?
No, that's my cigarette, is it?
Oh. It was just a kind of rustling or fuzzy noise. I thought maybe you were munching sweeties.
That was the cigarette falling there. You have to top it up there with iron.
Oh, that right.
Yeah.
I think Riley's grown into that role too, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously McGregor's. It's not as if he's going to keep McGregor out the team, but he's maybe giving on something to think of going forward.
Exactly.
That McGregor can play that further position forward where Moyes even playing now.
But Mark Moyes even playing better in that role because do you remember he played Moyes first in that defensive role? Moyes not quick enough and Moyes not a tackler to play that role. So I think that's why Moyes at the moment is actually playing well because the ball's in front of him. Do you get me? He's receiving the ball, just players in front of him. That's the type of player Moyes is, really.
I thought he played well the other day, Paul, and I thought Moyes played well again tonight. So maybe that is a better position for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
O'Reilly,
I do think O'Reilly is kind of grown into that kind of role. I'm not saying he's a better player than McGregor, but is he more suited to that role than McGregor?
There's more of a toughness there, Mark. There's more of a physicality that we were saying that we were lacking.
He's 6'2".
Yeah.
So he's I think that could be. I said the other night, Paul, I think I'm not meaning it's a good thing McGregor's been injured, but maybe May can see something that he maybe didn't see or he wasn't even looking for before.
So I mean, but we don't need this, Mark.
An all kind of roundness to that position, whereas McGregor's get really rough edges about it. Even
like we don't need this
tackle,
big,
you can't play there.
We don't need this big, huge Wanyama player there. Do you know what I mean? Big, blocky player. We want a player who's going to get stuck in and is going to play in these tackles. Allegard got 30 minutes there as well today, Mark. You know what I mean? You know?
I like the look at him. I really do. Him and Abelgard, I think they two are looking really kind of good prospect players for us. It's good. We've said that as well. It's good arguments to have, isn't it? When you've got that kind of an abundance of riches kind of thing, rather than.
You know, I was reading something today. It was about Ange, and people asked him about what makes him tweak his teams, what makes him do these formations, like Forrest today, like what takes Forrest out of the team today, pull in the bad. And he said it comes down to a number of things. It's training, the opposition, and what Gavin Strachan thinks.
The number side stuff.
What he thinks. You know what I mean? So I think they saw Forrest maybe at the weekend, Mark, that they'll make space for Forrest to cut in. Do you get me? You know, so like the data is there, Mark, and we have a manager that's actually using this data now. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Maybe that showed up to them. Look, Forrest would be better, as you're saying, Paul, for cutting in, whereas again, the night of bad is better for getting out wide more often. He was unlucky not to get his hat trick. I felt a bit.
Yeah. Do you know what, though, but you feel lousy not hitting the post, Mark, but in a way, then you're delighted that Kyogo got that goal behind him. You know, hopefully, that seems to be hopefully a turning point for Kyogo, Mark, because he's getting into positions, Mark. It's just he's not getting. He's either hitting the ball at the keeper, like they were saying today. That was a great save by the keeper. It was hit kind of straight at him, Mark.
Aye,
get me?
Aye. You didn't even. There was no. He could have even tried to maybe chip him, or he could have tried. He didn't even. He just tried to hit it through right down the middle, hoping that it was going to go under him. That basically.
Yeah, so you'd have the best of strikers, Mark. They're chipping that over the keeper, or they're putting side to side.
I thought it was. I thought it was a good game, Paul. Overall,
I did too. I enjoyed it, Mark. I enjoyed the way we were passing. It seems to be it looks like we're getting a bit of our mojo back. We were looking like Celtic where we were against Dundee United. Like we're scoring goals. You know what I mean? The results is matching the performance.
Aye.
Because you see something there, Mark. We're winning 1-0, but that doesn't tell the whole story. We could have controlled the whole game, Mark, and we're only winning 1-0. Do you get me?
Aye. But it seems to definitely this. Hopefully, that's us turned a corner for that wee kind of sticky patch.
Is it something what you said earlier on? Like, is it because players are injured now as well? Like, and the players who are coming in, Mark, they're taking their chances. They're giving Ange decisions. I mean, on form, Mark, are you going at the moment, Mark? On form, are you going to drop Jota for Haksabanovic?
Oh no, you're
on form at the moment.
You're taking Haksabanovic every day, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. At the moment, yeah, you are. He seems to be at the moment to me, Mark. You're looking at Haksabanovic. He seems more of a team player, as Jota has got greedy.
But you see me think, as well, Paul. Players seem to come in. Sometimes it takes a while. I'm hoping this is maybe put it as with Abelgard, but we've seen it with Andrew, a couple of players last year. It sometimes takes them a while to get into the team.
Mm-hmm.
But once they get into the team, it's as if they've been playing there for months, Paul.
Yeah.
And Haksabanovic is looking like that kind of player. He's looking as if he'd been in that team for. He's been a regular playing every week at one of the boys kind of thing. He just seems to have slotted
he's bought into what Ange is telling the Mark, isn't this?
He doesn't look out of place. He looks as if he knows exactly what he's doing. He's played in this team and knows the way it's been playing for. He's really just slotted in there.
I think he's doing that now as well, Mark, with Allegard, because tonight, he got a good 30 minutes. He came on the 60th minute, so he got a good 30 minutes. So
that'll help him as well.
Seems that he's got a good 30 minutes behind his belt.
You're a new sub there. You Deef, thanks very much for coming in, mate. Thanks very much for subbing. Thanks a lot, mate.
Our defence again,
Paul, that's probably Scottish for like you, deaf. Just know how we to explain to you what tatties were, but Baltic meant and stuff like that. Deef's a Scottish way you're saying deaf.
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 Aye, no death. Deaf, no hearing.
Yeah, hearing, deaf, hearing, yeah. Jesus Christ, lads. I thought you were speaking a foreign language there and that line phone there. A while ago, like I didn't have a clue what JP was saying. He was saying he was buying fish, and I was reading it going, what in the name of God is he saying? Jesus Christ, I couldn't make two words out of it.
I thought you'd have knew what tatties were.
No.
And I thought you'd have knew what Baltic meant.
And what was the other one you said to me before about the sandwich? And you asked what was that? You said it was a sandwich.
Pieces.
Yeah.
Pieces. You didn't know what a piece was.
Didn't have a clue what that was either.
A piece in totties and fash.
Jesus Christ, man. Imagine if they asked me, do I want that in a restaurant? I'd be going, what? I'd be like the Blizz was taking out the calculator translator, typing in the words, Captain Fantastic again today, Mark. He just brings a calmness. Like he just doesn't back out of a tackle, does he? You see him there in the halfway line.
Good night, Jabba. Good night, bud. Speak to you later on.
Jabba's off to the bingo.
He's away to the bingo under the thumb with the missus.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Paul, what were you saying?
I'm just saying, Mark, Cabin Vickers again, like he just brings a calmness back to that back line, and he doesn't back out of a tackle. Like I see him there a few times tonight, like he was going in and he was going in hard.
It just seems to be, Paul, see, as long as he's playing in the defence, As you said, it just brings a calmness to it. Everybody kind of trusts what he's telling them to do and the way he's dictating things at the back and that. It's just, as long as he's playing, Paul, I'm confident that our defence is going to be well organised at least.
It is, Mark, isn't this?
He seems to be, it's just him and AN other than that. I think Jens, he's starting to win more, Paul. I gave him a bit of grief comparing him to Julian and thought he was a bit soft in that, but even the night, I thought he played well again the night. Never really caused any. Do you get what I mean? He was calm and knew what his job was and stuff like that. So
he's good at the ball too, Mark, for a big lad, something that Julian really wasn't. Like, you know what I mean? He seems to be comfortable on the ball with his feet, like, you know, for a big lad.
I mean, a couple of the other week there was people saying, "Oh, we shouldn't take up the option on him and stuff like that," wasn't it?
It was me, I think, yeah.
Was it you that said that? No, there was a few folks saying it, but
I was just concerned, Mark, the way he was playing with Welch.
His actual form at the time,
we were kind of saying, like, we have to see him with Vickers or Starfelt and see how he plays with them. But we saw Welch, Mark, when he plays with Vickers. Welch is a different player. Do you know what I mean? You know, has to be Vickers. As you said,
as long as Carter Vickers is in there, Paul, we should be all right. Whether it is Welsh, Julian, or Starfelt. But if he's out, that's when it kind of maybe becomes a wee bit of a problem, doesn't it?
Mark, there seems to be a bit of a debate going on as well at the moment. Be on the left side between Taylor and Barnaby. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, we saw him for one game, really, but everyone was impressed with him the way he was getting forward and his distribution of the ball last weekend. But you see then tonight, Mark, you see what Taylor brings to us. Taylor can tackle, he can get back. He's a changed player under Ange, Mark, you know.
I've always stuck up for him, but he's went above and beyond, Paul, for even what I was kind of expecting him to be like for the team. It really is. I think even you've got to even compare that kind of improvement, Paul, even to the kind of Ralston type of
course, Mark,
levels. It really is. Taylor's took his game to another level. And I think again, just what you're saying, Paul, with Abada or Forrest, whether it's the stats and whether it's training, I think it's going to come down to either or with him as well, depending on opposition and stuff like that as well.
Like, I remember,
why not just even play Barnaby a wee bit further forward at times as well?
We seen that against Hibs, Mark, didn't we? We seen that against Hibs, like, you know, that he put him on the left wing. Like, I remember, Mark,
it's good choices to have, but
without doubt, Mark. I remember, Mark, when we signed Taylor, he was an old school left back. Do you know what I mean? He could barely get above the halfway line and struggling to get back. We questioned it, like, a thing. But as he spent more time, as you said there, with Ange. Do you know what I mean? Like, Taylor's bombing up that wing, Mark, like there's no tomorrow. You know? Creating space for the wingers.
He's becoming like your kind of Tom Boyd, Jackie McNamara's. Even get back to old guys like even like Dennis Irwin. They're all they play like a 7 out of 10 every week. Do you get what I mean? Taylor's catching my eye, but see, Taylor just keeps going the way he's going. It'll just become a normal thing, and that's the level of performance he's expecting. Tom Boyd and guys like Jackie McNamara, for me, they were the same. They were always like a 6 or a 7 every week, no matter what.
They were never in the highlight, Mark, but they were there doing their job.
Aye. They never get the kind of praise for doing what they were doing, but they were there, dependable, doing their job well, and they were always, as I said, a 6 or a 7 every week, and they didn't stand out.
Say that about Dennis Orr, Mark, that he was his best signing. For Dennis Orr, he says that he just came in, did his job, and that was it. There was no messing over. Like, Dennis Orr, Mark, was going back there, the best.
Consummate professional kind of thing.
Yeah.
When people talk about like their top teams and all that, Dennis Irwin gets overlooked for them quite a lot.
Oh, without doubt, Mark. Even in the top 11s when players are picking them, like, you know what I mean?
But see, even like with Celtic fans will very rarely pick out like Tom Boyd or Jackie McNamara when they're picking out their best 11. I'd have Tom Boyd in there. I definitely would.
Tom Boyd, Mark, was really, and even even watching him now on Celtic TV, like he's just a different kettle of fish. And like he was on about the referees last week. I told you he'd make that mistake. I told you he'd do this. Do you know what I mean?
It's pure like deadpan into it, as if he's just a wee grumpy old man sitting there moaning about referees all week.
Yeah. I think we have to talk, Mark, about Rio Hart's goal. Like we saw him score some rockets outside the box. But tonight, Mark, was just. He'd no right to score that goal, Mark. No right whatsoever. That skill to turn the player and put it through the keeper at the other leg. I mean, it's a skill, Mark. Do you mean you either have it or you don't have it? And
I think Kataki's been the most successful at the Japanese signings.
Yeah. As you said there, Mark, about Taylor, he's consistent. That seems to be Hayase. He's consistent. You know what I mean? He mightn't be getting the goals all the time, Mark, but he's doing his job. He's getting the ball. He's bringing the other players into it. Do you know what I mean? He seems to be the one, Mark, I know a lot, is dictating our play. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's what you look for, Paul, really, in players. I mean, there's no consistency to play at a high level. There's no point in having a player that's you're going to score you a hat trick one game and then you're not getting another goal looking for. Do you get what I mean? For the next 10 weeks or something like that. The players need to find a level of playing and play it consistently. And guys like O'Reilly, Greg Taylor, Hatate, Carter, Vickers, I mean, they're doing that. That's what they're doing, and that's got to be a good thing for the team moving forward.
Do you remember on the Lennon? Now here going back to the previous seasons, Mark, but we were saying there was no spine. I mean, the spine of the team was gone. There seems to be no one there. But now you look at it like just going on today's team, like you had Vickers, O'Reilly, Hitase, Kyogo, I mean, there's a spine in that team, Mark. And then if you're taking players off, it continues on. Do you get me? There's no weakness, Mark, on the bench at the moment.
Well, that's what it should be. But that was what, I mean, going back to the St Mirren game, do you get what I mean? You've got to kind of if you're going to do that, you've got to get it right. And you've got to bring on players that are no go. I'm not a great fan of making so many substitutions at the one time, Paul. I think that can kind of break up the play. I really do. But it's all about using the squad. But the substitution, but it's important in keeping the rhythm going. You don't want it to upset the rhythm of the team. That's the most important thing about it. But the spine of the team, I don't know, Paul. It's a bit. I still think Gio Kamakis is better up there. You're saying Kyogo up the top. I'd go with Big Gio up there if I was picking my best, strongest team.
After seeing I think, Mark, the reason I'm going for Kyogo is because I like Kyogo. Do you know what I mean? He's loving Celtic. You know what I mean? He loves the fans and. You know what I mean? But going on what you're saying, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? I know why we're screaming for G Marcus to play, because he does hold up the ball. Do you know what I mean? And he is going to bring players around him. Do you get me? You know, he was doing that for James Forrest. He was dragging players away for James Forrest to get his goals because there was two players marking G Marcus. Do you get me? You're not going to have two players marking Kyogo. You know?
And it's back to again, Paul, the kind of the style that we're going to play. See, like what you're about, like whether you go for Juranovic or Ralston putting crosses into the box, it's the same kind of thing. See, if you're going to have the wingers running into the box, running inside, I think then that's you bringing Kyogo into the game. But if you're going on the outside and putting crosses into the box, Kyogo's not getting too many of them.
What did you think of Ivanovic there, Mark? He was under a bit of criticism as well the last couple of weeks, but he seemed to kind of do well today. Like I think the whole team started kind of get their heads up. Do you think maybe him being taken out of the team, Mark, for the Hibs game, like maybe upped his game as well? Like seeing how good Ralston's playing, that he knows Ralston's on his toes again and stuff like that.
Juranovic is one of the kind of. He knows the score. He knows if he's not playing, it's nothing to do with the manager not trusting him and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? If he's the type of player, if he gets called on, he'll come on, he'll give you 100%. And Again, he's just had a wee bit of a sticky patch, but I thought he looked solid enough tonight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even getting forward as well, Mark, something that I criticised him over.
Who will we get in the draw? I'll say Dundee. I think we'll get Dundee.
Dundee, I think they'll want to keep the Glasgow teams apart, Mark, hopefully.
No, because if Dundee get through, they'll be out, wouldn't they? They're playing
they play Dundee tonight, actually. I didn't know that. I was thinking about the Scottish Cup that they got, the Huns.
They 1-0 up.
You expect them to beat Dundee, though, Mark?
You would. But that was the thing, just while we're talking about this, a 6:15 kickoff tonight. That's scandalous.
Ridiculous, Mark. Absolutely ridiculous.
I was talking to Mikey earlier on, and Mikey was meant to be he could have went to the game tonight, but him and his dad's pal went, and this was the back of three, and his dad had just left. They had to leave Dundee at the back of three today for a game that kicked off at 6:15, just because of the traffic on them. It's one of the biggest. Paul, it's one of the biggest motorways in Scotland that you're trying to get through at rush hour to get to Motherwell for that kind of kickoff. And that, but that's been changed for TV, right?
Yeah.
At this early kickoff.
Yeah.
And yet that's two teams out of the Premiership playing, while Rangers played Dundee, a Championship team that's been gave the kind of the later on kickoff.
I can't understand it, Mark. Like, people are not only are they rushing to get to the game, but people are rushing home at 5:30 when they finish work to get home to watch the match. Do you know what I mean? It's not a game for the fans anymore, Mark.
Even guys, even guys for Glasgow, getting out there and working a shift today and finishing just a normal time, like 4:30, would have been struggling to get to Motherwell for that kickoff tonight. There'll be people needed to take half days and everything for that today. And that's
people
scandalous.
Who go to all the way matches, Mark. Yeah, people who go to all the way matches. Like,
I mean, it's no. See if the motorway's clear, Paul. You can get from like Hamilton and Motherwell to Glasgow in, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, I actually only live, Paul, about 20-25 minutes for Celtic Park, if the roads are clear, kind of thing. But I just with the rush hour and it's a M74 and the M8. That's the motorways there's pure chaos on them. And that's I saying, Mikey, Dad, and that to leave the back of three to make that kickoff in it.
But you know what it is, Mark, as well, that bugs me. Like the clubs now actually don't have any say in this.
I know.
Like when the fixtures come out at the start of the season, Mark, they're getting the list. And next you hear rescheduled for TV rights, rescheduled this and it's not suiting the team. Like, there was no way that suited Celtic today. Like, the result was grand, you got the result, Mark, but could have backfired, Mark, playing that early as well.
But I don't think Celtic the players and stuff like that really bother about that kind of. It's more the fans, I'm thinking. Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, players will turn up wherever they're told to be, kind of thing, and that's their job in Celtic. But it's something that maybe the club should take on a bit more board and look at the fans and the fans' feelings on things like this.
But do they have do they have any hand to stand on, Mark? Any leg to stand on, Mark? Because of, as you said there, like the money, like, you know what I mean? It's like.
But even if you've not got, even if you've not got a leg to stand on, Paul, you still make your point. Put your thoughts on this. Do you get what I mean? I mean, Celtic, even if that had been Rangers getting this 6:15 kickoff, their fans would just
be uproar.
They'd have just been in the same boat. Their fans would have been struggling to get travel, to get finished work, and blah blah blah. And there are people coming over from England, people coming over from Ireland and Northern Ireland and stuff like that. And they've got to think of things like this.
Because the only time, Mark, I ever kind of witnessed a midweek match kicking off at this time is when the likes of the quarterfinals of the Champions League are on. And I know that then that once again it gets to the quarterfinal of the Champions League, semi-final, final, no game can be played at the same time. And that, am I right? So they get played. Like, that's the only time, Mark, I can remember Celtic playing this early before.
You can't have games that are going to affect other games. played at different times. It's like if we were, it's like the last round of Champions League games, they'll all kick off at the same time, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I'm sure they do
they all kick off at 8 o'clock.
Of that.
Bang on.
Whereas the last couple of times we've had like an early kick-off, a late kick-off, an early one. But it's just on TV. What was that you were saying on the live chat about that?
It's a new code. It's a Scandinavian Swedish internet stream. They're called Viaplay. Remember I was saying to you, we've the Polish satellite here, and I've all the Canal Plus, and I've all the Pulsat. So they're after buying Canal Plus all over Europe.
That's the French. That's the French
TV.
French TV.
But they put that all over Europe, Mark. All Scandinavian countries, Poland. They pull off the Germany. That's how they watch. I know you have Sky Sports Germany now and stuff like that. Sky Sports Italia, but Canal Plus is the main Premier League. We say, Mark, for the matches across Europe. You know.
Outside England, outside the UK, and that kind of thing.
They're after buying a 85% stake in Canal Plus. I used to get all the matches on a Saturday, right, in the Premier League market, because they'll put it on Canal Plus Film, they'll put it on Canal Plus Premier, and they'll put it on all their 5 sports channels. So I could get any match I want in the Premier League, right? I only get one now, Mark, and that's the 12 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. And I might get the 4 o'clock one on a Sunday. Otherwise, it's gone onto the Viaplay. They're after buying.
And is that subscription?
Yes,
you need to pay for that, right?
Yeah. So what it is, Mark, is if I click into Canal Plus Sport now and the match is on, it'll say hit the like Sky Box Office. You hit the red button.
Right.
You get charged then for an extra €10. But that €10 is just for that game. It goes back off after that game. Doesn't stay on then for the next game. You know,
€10 a game.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Next time, Mark, they're after buying rights to the Premier League for next season to show them from England. All right. So I'm actually thinking that, the 3 p.m. kickoffs that's on, there's a TV blackout, 3 p.m. kickoff. What I think it is, Mark, is they're after buying those TV rights for that, but they'll show them over the internet, that they won't be shown on TV. They'll be streamed on their internet website Viaplay. All right.
They'll still be blocked in the UK, Paul. That'll be like Celtic TV.
Yeah.
They'll still be blocked. You'll maybe get them. Do you get what I mean? But
that's what I'm saying. They'll get them, yeah. But they're after buying Premier Sports as well. All right. So what I'm thinking, Mark, is that why Sky pushed the SPL to get this deal done as soon as possible, because Sky Sports knew that they were sniffing around the SPL. They're after buying Premier Sports.
Surely that's up. I mean, I'm not saying you're talking rubbish. I'm just saying that's a real good point. But surely then the SPL should be looking at that deal.
Exactly, Mark.
Looking at these kind of companies, even lift the phone to Amazon Prime, Paul, or Netflix, or I don't know, anybody that's anything that's going to get more money into the Scottish League's got to be a good thing.
We say no, Mark. If you have a Sky box, right, and Viaplay come into, they buy Premier Sports, right, and they're showing Celtic and Motherwell game tonight, that it's going to be on their channels, right? So if you go into Premier Sports, right, and it's blocked, you press the button, right, but it doesn't go onto the Premier Sports channel. It goes onto a vacant channel. So you go down the end of your Sky boxes there's kind of all these nonsense channels where it comes up no channel. It goes on to them. Do you mean? So it's using up these channels that aren't there. Do you get me?
I know what you mean.
I think, Mark, like as what you said there, like if I know this, Mark, from London and Poland, that they're after buying, I only found this out today that they're after buying Premier Sports. So I only found this out today. So if I found out, Mark, surely to be God, Doncaster knows what's going on, and if he does it, Mark, he's not suited for that job. You know,
I don't think he's fit for the job anyway, Paul. Mm-hmm. It's no often I agree with Rangers. You know that yourself or anything, and I'm not agreeing with the way they went about things and they go about things, but I do think they did have a point that we should be looking about for the best deal.
Yeah.
It just seemed. I
So
mean,
when's the Sky deal up, Mark?
you've-
Another two, like, even before we signed this new one, we
I
had it
think
for another year or two, wasn't it? 2 years.
another 2 years. I think it
Exactly,
was.
Mark. 2
Or
years
maybe
we had
even.
it for.
I keep thinking we're in 2023. I don't know
Do you know
why.
what I mean? We had it for another 2 years, Mark. Like, why couldn't he go, hold on, no, Sky, here a minute? Because, Mark, I know for a fact, like, if he was sniffed on, Sky would up their, they'd up their money, Mark. Do you know what I
Aye,
mean?
because they'd get
They
wind of
would,
that.
like,
I mean,
yeah.
they could phone up Netflix or Amazon or anybody, and they could be like, "Nah, we're not, but nah, we've had a meeting about it. No, we're not really interested in it." But you've
Mhm.
got to ask. It's like when you're trying to sign players and stuff like that, Paul. You've got to ask this question: do you want to do this? Do you get what I mean? So it's the
Mhm.
same for a TV deal. And I mean, the biggest mistake Scottish football made was getting away from the BT side
Yeah.
of things. A BT, because even the way they presented it, they put a lot more effort into it. There was a lot more work. It was better.
But
It was
did
just
BT
all round
kind
a
of own
better.
Premier Sports, Mark, did they? Or was
Who?
it part of their package? Was Premier Sports part of the BT package?
Oh, but no, BT. I used to get BT Sports free, Paul, when I was with Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
It was Virgin I got BT Sports
And do you
free
ever
with.
get Premier Sports then with that, no?
No, you needed to pay for it.
Yeah,
You
see,
needed
that's
to
the
pay for
problem though,
that.
Mark. So if people know, right, or after buying Premier Sports, say you buy it next year, you buy Premier Sports, you mightn't get this game. This game could be a prepaid game. That's what VIA,
Aye,
this is how VIA, play make their money. They might show, we say Hamilton, Mark, if they're in the cup and they're playing, we say Dundee, they might show that game, but they won't show you the beat game.
the Celtic one, you'll need to pay another tenner
Yeah,
for.
they didn't show no, Mark. They showed Man United and Newcastle last Sunday, but they didn't show Man City and Liverpool. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, you had to pay to get that one.
Like a
Yeah.
pay-per-view event.
Yes. You know what I mean?
And
So
the prices of them are just going to gut up as well, Paul.
exactly, Mark. Like if like it's €20 here. If the reason I'm walking out, Mark, is €20 because I'm walking what they're charging in zlotys. Do you get me? And Vana can convert it then for me. It'd be €10 a game. So if they're doing that, they're going to put the rough estimates, Mark, around Europe for that. If it's going to be in Europe, it's going to be the same price for all Europe. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, like it's
What's
worrying, Mark. It's worrying. Like, I mean,
€10, that'd be about
you know, like
£12 out here,
you have
I think.
matches. They're kicking off at 6:15. You're rushing to get home. You're hoping you're going to be getting back for the match. You get back for the match. You put on Premier Sports, and then it comes up. You were not subscribed to view this channel. Please select the yellow button, and then you're looking, going, what? I'm already a Premier Sports subscriber.
You're already paying £20 a month or something
Yeah,
like that for it.
exactly, Mark. You know, it seems to be the way football's going, Mark, with TV is at the moment. It seems to be the more
TV's
you want to
calling.
watch, the more you're going to pay.
Aye, TV's
You know?
calling the shots. Definitely. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, but I see what a lot of people don't get as well, Paul. See me going, right, you know how I feel about the Premier League and that. I call it the pub league and stuff like that, and how it's money and that. But that's actually based on the original version of our Premier. See, when we made our like first kind of Scottish Premier Division and stuff like that, the English Premier League, when it started, was based on a version of that. So they've looked at what Scotland was doing and just took it to a whole nother level.
But this is how this Via Play started, Mark. If you look up at it and if you watch it, this is how they started. They only started showing Scandinavian football. Then they started investing into the Winter Olympics because the Winter Olympics are beating these Scandinavian countries.
Massive, isn't it?
That's originally how they started. Is all these Winter Olympics. Then they saw football was getting bigger in Scandinavia. The likes of Iceland were getting big into the football. Then they bought into the football. They built up their core fans then in Scandinavia, made their money, and now they're branching out, Mark. I mean, they must have money, Mark, if they're able to buy nearly a 95% stake in Canal Plus.
But did they know they end up? Did they not end up in bother, Paul, the other year? And that's how the French league ended up in trouble.
Yeah, that's how they got it. Yeah,
They've got.
They
I know
saw
it's
an
still a big
opportunity.
mass.
Yeah.
They've seen an opportunity, a big, massive company kind of going in the cheap kind of thing.
Yeah, and they got it, Mark, 95% stake. Like, and I just can't believe then, like, that you have the SPL there, Mark, the first offer they get, they jumped at it, and they're forcing teams to take it. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like, don't take it, we won't get another offer.
At a time we actually didn't even need to be at the negotiating table, Paul.
No.
There was no need to even be in the negotiations with Sky at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, you even look at it, right? They got to the Europa League final last year. The two, fair dues, none of the twos are doing too great in the Champions League, but the two teams in the Champions League, Hearts are in the Conference League or whatever it is, they no doing too, but still, you're still the profile of the profile of the clubs is still a wee bit higher than it was. Mm-hmm. The profile of the league's a wee bit higher than it was because of this European exposure.
How many extra games did they play? Is it 62 games now they're going to show, Mark? Is it from the new deal?
Aye, but it's weird that as well.
Yeah, but you see the fine detail of it. They don't
even need to show them.
Yeah, it says
stats up.
The fine detail of it. It said around 65 games, so they don't have to show exactly the 65 games.
Aye,
you get me?
Aye, that's what Welsh Buzz puts up on the forum.
Like, I mean, like,
there's been games that like Celtic games should have been on the telly, gone with the passing the buck from side to side, and they've not been on. And they've only showed
last
X
year,
amount
Mark,
of games.
A midweek game. I think we were either playing Hearts or Hibs. It was one of the end of clubs, and we were playing. And they were showing a League Two match on the Sky Sports in midweek. A League Two match.
Something like that, I know.
Do you know what I mean? And you're looking going, shite be God, as a football fan, you'd prefer to sit down and watch Celtic play Hearts rather than watching fucking Fleetwood play fucking.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? You know.
But again, it's down to. But I mean, it's just down to what the English want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I've said this on a podcast before, Paul, but right, I'm maybe getting back when I first started getting involved in the forums and stuff like that, right? And I started digging into things, right? And I actually kind of put an email into Sky asking them about this, but they wouldn't give me the exact figures, but I've kind of got a general gist, right? So I'm getting back maybe, say, 8 years ago, right? There was 1 million Sky Sports subscribers in Scotland, right? Wow. And I'm sure it was just under £30 a month, right? Here, take a penny, it was like $29.99 or something like that. That's £30 million a month going to Sky for Scotland. £30 million a month, you times that by 12. Do you get what I mean? They're 300, right? I'm not, a lot of them are, a lot of people were paying it because you get the English fit, because you get the wrestling, because you get the rugby, because you get this, but it's still coming from Scotland, so these people have gone to be supporting Scottish teams. So they were roughly getting about £360 million a year out of Scotland. And they were
that's gone back 10 years ago, Mark.
Aye, about 8 or 10 years ago. And that was that, man. That was after that. I was like, I'm done with that. That's when I chucked. I kind of done that. I'm no paying against Sky any more money for that. It's
no wonder people are going through fire sticks, Mark, or going on to these legal streams. Do you know what I mean? No wonder people are doing that because they don't have it, Mark. We're going in the way it looks like, Mark, with this war in Ukraine. Europe could be going into another recession. You've England there at the moment, they're on their backs. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's surely it's nothing to do with like all the politics. We'll just need to at least have some kind of guarantee of money. And not forgetting we get stung with that Santana deal years ago and that as well, Paul. But
yeah.
I was just shocked that we were actually in negotiations for an extension of a contract that still had a couple of years to run.
2 years to one, Mark, yeah. I think, Mark, Sky, you know what, Mark? I think Sky Sports saw what was coming. I think they saw this crowd, Mark, coming into the thing, and after them getting Premier Sports, Mark, I think Sky Sports knew that this crowd was going to be a serious player. You get me?
Aye.
You know, I actually think they knew it, Mark, and I think because the deal really came out of the blue to everyone, Mark. No one was kind of expecting, because normally you kind of hear rumours about stuff. This was like, this is the deal.
But I know
it's basically take it or leave it, like, you know what I mean? You know?
But I know I've seen I've noticed that under this new deal, Paul, that clubs are allowed to stream is it 6 of their own games or something like that? And see, for me, that's what Celtic need to start trying to get into. Get away from these TV deals with Sky and start doing what, get what I mean? We like selling our own rights, being in charge of our own rights kind of thing. Even if it is, even I've said it to you, Paul, even if we need to subsidise the rest of Scottish football, Celtic and Rangers should be trying to get in charge of that. Do you get what I mean? They should be, because they'd make a fortune out of it as well. But we'd be.
Look, Mark, look what Barcelona did with Spotify so they could sign players. They sold them a percentage of Barcelona TV. Do you know what I mean?
I know,
a percentage
for years
that,
to come.
And they got millions for it. Millions for it, like. Do you know what I mean?
How does that fit in with financial fair play rules and stuff? Do you get what I mean? That's a bit, for me, that's all dodginess as well.
It is, Mark, yeah. It is, like, so what's it called? Is it called the Spotify new Camp Nou or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. No, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's. I think, Mark. I think after. I think we have to send in our yearly counts. Is it the end of the month? Is it? I think is this, or is it the end of November?
I think but we've already had our accounts out, Paul.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Mark. There's going to be a lot of clubs here in trouble. I think the likes of Man City could be. The likes of Paris Saint-Germain be in trouble again. They're already being investigated, aren't they? Still.
Well, they're on that kind of same watch list as Rangers are, Paul. No, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that Van Bronckhorst didn't get money, because they see these new regulations, Paul. They're a hell of a lot tighter than the last ones were, and it's UEFA.
They had to put money into the books, Mark, to clear down their debts.
Aye, because now they're a lot tighter and a lot more strict. And it's UEFA that are looking at them now. It's not the SFA just saying, they're your accounts.
No, and Mark, do you know what, Mark?
That's why Rangers end up on this kind of watch list.
Do you know what, Mark? Sorry, then I just opened a can of 7-Up there. That's the way it should be. UEFA should be controlling the league, Mark, looking at these. It shouldn't be left up to the clubs, because your league doesn't want to admit there's something dodgy.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So they're going to cover. And we saw, so it wasn't that the reason, Mark, they got into Europe that time when they went into liquidation. It was a cover up by the SPL as well, weren't they? They gave.
It's not really a cover up, Paul. It's just, I think, don't take this as gospel. Was it Roger Mitchell, Paul? Him that used to be in charge of the SPL. Mind I sent you that interview that he done.
You did, yeah.
And he said at the time, there's no way that the SFA or the SPL or whatever were ever going to refuse Celtic or Rangers or UEFA licence. There was no need to mention Celtic in that. That was just him keeping the peace. But that's what he said. So basically, the SFA or whoever were just signing off whatever they needed to sign off just to get this done. And now that's not going to happen anymore.
That's what bugs me, Mark. Celtic always seem to be dragged into their problems when it has nothing to do with Celtic. Do you get me?
No, Paul, that's just the way the press and the media need to kind of work things out here. But you see it. But the thing about it is, when Roger Mitchell came out and said that, anybody with common sense knew that it wasn't meaning. He was just talking in the context that even if Celtic were in that position, the SFA wouldn't do anything about it. Do you get what I mean? But they've just done Rangers the same. They've basically done Rangers. He's saying they've done Rangers the same favours that they would do Celtic. That's basically what Roger Mitchell said.
Well, what the game at the weekend? Is that Saturday or
Saturday at 12:30, Paul?
It's on, that's on Sky Sports, isn't this?
Aye.
And our first, who did Buzz say was the referee for it? Did he say Nick Walsh? Did he? Or was it Robinson?
No, it's Walsh, isn't it? I'm sure he said it was Walsh.
Walsh, yeah.
They're evening.
12 o'clock kickoff, Mark's going to be the first game on the VAR.
Half 12, isn't it? I'm not looking forward to VAR. I'm not. It's just, I honestly, Paul, I think VAR could be a good thing in football if it was used right. That's what it is. It's like everything else. It's just like everything else. It needs to be used right for it to work. and there's just that many. I don't know. It's murder trying to watch a game in England with the amount of stoppages for VAR and stuff
It's
like
ridiculous, Mark. I mean, my biggest problem about VAR is they're taking
that. What if
the
you've let off
player's
your?
run
What if you've
position
let
as
off your?
offside.
What if you've let off your flare and then it gets ruled offside?
Exactly, Mark.
You've wasted the price of a flare in the game.
You know what I mean? And even
it takes a bit of the kind of the buzz, the kind of excitement of the game because there's a goal. Oh wait, the news that gone is stone. So that it's right away when you're standing there for a minute, 2 minutes waiting on the decision making. The actual initial euphoria of your team scoring a goal gone, isn't it?
I think, Mark, they need to for that to work for me, Mark, is they need to look at the offside rule.
Aye,
because taking the player off or his hand in the running position, or if his foot of his toe, the toe of his foot is offside. They're bringing the lines, Mark, practically right up to the studs.
Aye.
To see if he's offside.
Aye.
I mean that's not
all the time to
real time, Mark, as you said.
Aye, that's what I said. The referee should be allowed to go and look at it himself in the monitors, even if he wants to look at it for different angles. But in his head, for me, he's got to think, if I'd even been staring right at that, would I have seen that? And you wouldn't. You wouldn't in real time notice the half a boot offside and stuff like that. So if the advantage has got to go to the attacker there, it's got to be something that if I was sitting if me and my linesman were staring right at that own line, would I have seen that was offside? Do you get what I mean? And that should be the kind of the marker for it.
My problem as well, Mark, is the referees might want to go against each other. So, no, we'll stick with your decision.
Well, that's the thing. Because it's all a case of, see, even now, somebody's saying, it'll show up their kind of all their mistakes. But we know their mistakes. They're not allowed to come out and talk about them. Ange's not allowed to go and ask a referee why he made such and such a decision. Nobody for the press is allowed to ask them why they made such and such a decision. So now the thing is going to be, well, VAR get checked and it was all right. It's a VAR backs up that referee's decision.
Exactly, Mark, yeah. Exactly.
Do you get what I mean? It's just another backup to mistakes.
Yeah. We see...
You ready for this, Paul?
What's that?
You there?
Yeah.
Aye, I can hear you. Turn your camera off.
Is this Terence?
No, it's Jabba.
Oh, Jesus. Welcome to the show. About
right,
time,
Jabba.
buddy. About time.
No, he's made an arse yet again.
He probably got a bit of Dutch courage, Mark, I think, today.
I think he was just out a walk with the dogs there up at the caravan, thought he'd come on. But I can't hear him, can you?
No, all I heard is, all right, guys, and gone.
Fell off a cliff.
That's like the priest before the Ted when he four rings. Then he falls off the cliff or he crashes the car. Jesus Christ, my wife do it. The wife killed him to get off the phone and get into the house. But what was I going to say there? Fucking Jabba threw me off.
Talking about VAR with referees just going to back up what decisions they make.
See, Mark, my problem is the referees. A lot of them don't know the rules of the game because they're making these like blocking the ball inside the box, Mark's a bucket of defence. You can't blame Van for that. That's just stupidity of the referee, not knowing the rules of the game.
There's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of that.
You there, Jabba?
Hello. You hear me?
I can hear you.
Welcome.
Guys. How are you doing? It's a bit windy here. I'm doing the beach.
Why are you doing down the beach in the pissing rain?
Don't ask stupid questions, mate. I do want to hear these answers, I'll tell you. But guys, I'm just coming on a quick one. I'm probably lowering the tone, sorry, just to say have a good one. That's all. I was just making my debut. I'll get a proper question in next time, right, for you, Paul.
Perfect, buddy. We'll be on again Sunday night, but when it's a bit quieter, come on to a Sunday night and we'll sit down and we'll talk about Celtic Sunday night.
Hold on, Jabber, just say something again there. Oh no,
I love you.
I can't. No, I thought I could click somebody and cancel that background noise, but it's not working.
Right. Oh, I think the wind, mate. It's blowing a gale. It's blowing a gale up here, buddy. Listen, I'll head away and let you go, man.
Good man, Jabba boy. Good man.
Good man, Jabba. See, that's and broke his cherry.
Exactly. He actually came on, but that's my problem, Mark.
Stone about a beach in Scotland at this time of night.
Some decisions, Mark. You can't blame referees. Sorry, you can't blame VAR. You can't blame tackles. You can't blame offsides. You just blame stupidity of a referee not knowing the rules of the game.
Basically not knowing the rules of the game.
You know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, is VAR going to raise the standards of Scottish refereeing? Nah. I don't think it is. Do you?
No, I don't know, Mark. I really like watching this on down the Premier League, Mark. It's spoiling the game. Do you know what I mean? The game is stopped every fucking. See, do you remember when it first came in? They were stopping the game for every tackle. They were stopping the game for every goal, even though the goal wasn't offside, no offside. They were stopping it, looking at it. That's what's going to happen in Scotland, Mark, for the next couple of months.
But again, as well, Paul. See, for me, right, you've got these guys in the studio and that. But for me, it's got to come down to the referee. The rules of the game, one of the basic rules of the game of football is that the referee's decision is final.
Exactly. And if the ref doesn't see something, Mark, you shouldn't be pulling it back.
Right. Or even if the linesmen are the VAR guys, ask them to go and have a look at something, that's fine. But they shouldn't have any real influence on the decision that the referee makes. Does that make sense?
That's like you said too, Mark, there about the Phil Foden's goal there at the weekend against Liverpool. They pulled it back for a free that happened in the build-up of the play. Like that shouldn't be. If the referee left the play on,
I saw that. I watched that. That's another just pure ridiculous decision, Paul.
It is, Mark. Yeah, and that's down to VAR, Mark, and it's VAR slowing down the play. Do you get me? When you slow something down, Mark, it looks worse. If that's the case, Mark, every corner taken should result in a penalty because all 11 players are pulling at each other's jersey there.
Plus, Paul, 9 out of 10 penalties aren't even in the wee kind of penalty arc. The wee bit at the corner, the penalty arc, the wee corner arc. Yeah. Half the time the ball's not even in that.
No.
So there you can pull that back. It's just if you want to be really, really pernickety, but it's the way it's no. I don't think VAR's improved the game of football at all. I really don't.
No, it hasn't, Mark. I would have preferred, Mark. What I would have preferred, right, is this goal line technology now that they have. I like that. Okay, the ball's behind the goal, Grant. It's in. Beats the referee's watch. And this new system that they're supposed to be trying in the World Cup, this automated offside, I like that. So if you have two, then Mark, there should be no need for VAR. Do you get me? You know, VAR was brought in to kind of determine these offside. Do you know what I mean?
I've never thought about that, but that's a good point, Paul. If they're bringing in this kind of laser stuff for the offside rule, shouldn't they?
Yeah. Aye. So is there a need for VAR, Mark? I mean, VAR, Denmark should be used only if serious foul play was brought into the game so they can look at them properly. That's my opinion. When VAR should be used, serious foul play. And that means, Mark, VAR shouldn't be kind of used in the game at all, really.
Or a penalty decision. Do you get what I think? Like real game-changing decisions, Paul.
See, that's what they're doing. The rugby, Mark.
No a finger offside and
exactly
half a boot because this. I mean, see, even think about it, Paul. I mean, this sounds a bit. I've thought about this, but so I maybe not explain it too well. But see, if me and you are running, see, if you're not running in tandem, at some point my leg's going to be in front of yours. Just be running. Do you get what I mean?
So see,
even though we're side by side, you could be in your back foot and I'm in my front foot.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking, Mark. Right, with this new automated system, I think the players, these kind of GPS things that they have. I think there's going to be something in there that will tag that. You get me? They'll be able to see then where the players are. Do you get me? So if your body is behind. Don't know if you're running, your forward leg is more advanced. Do you know what I mean? So if the tag's going behind you, Mark, your leg's not going to be offside. Do you get me? You know, and that's the way it should be. Like,
but the tag will cover the tag will kind of cover their full body the way electronics can build a body through all these GPS things they wear and that.
It's just there's too many stoppages. Like, that's the problem, Mark.
It ruins the flow of the game.
I think, Mark, one thing that I think Celtic need to be wary about, Mark, and all this far is us tackling. Because if they do slow it, we say the likes of Callum McGregor now, Mark, who we say can't tackle. If he goes in for a tackle like that, Mark, he'll end up getting sent off.
Aye.
You know, that's...
Yeah, but Bobby's saying there, I'm the opposite. Considering we attack so much, play balls into the box, we could get more decisions that go overlooked. But the ref still needs to go to it. It still needs to be a call to VAR. I mean, the same things could happen to Celtic. They knew that happened. We think if that was VAR, it would be a penalty. Aye, if the ref went and looked at it.
But what about these Lundstrom tackles now, Mark? What about these we've seen these tackles, right, down in Premier League being sent off, these tackles being sent, and I've seen less tackles being sent off. So, realistically, if he goes in for those tackles, Mark, he should be red carded if they're going looking at these tackles. Two-footed tackles.
But is he going to go and look at it? That's another thing.
See, that's the thing, Mark, yeah.
It's not as if managers can ask a ref to go and look.
No, it's up to the referee to go look at the mark,
Somebody said use the American football system. They use that. They've got so many kind of calls a game into the manager or coach can ask them to look at decisions and stuff like that. We've not got any like that. So
see, that's the problem, Mark, is
if there's a penalty, if there's a penalty decision, right, whether it's against us or for us, right, it's up to the referee to decide, do I need to go and look at that? Nobody or somebody out the VAR department. They're the only ones that are still controlling it. So if they're like, the ref can send his mate, should I have a look at that? The guy up in the VAR room, it was nothing. Just
exactly, Mark. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Look, no, we stick with your decision there, Beeson. Do you know what I mean? We won't bother looking at that. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's at the moment, Mark, it's all the same clique that's looking after it. And then if imagine the overruled, right? Imagine they're talking Hugh Dallas is going to be in charge of this or something. Wouldn't I seen somebody saying that? I hope that wasn't true. But right, sir, Hugh Dallas, say beatings up in the gantry doing the VAR job, and it's that Walsh guy that's a referee on the park.
Exactly.
And so that Walsh blows for something, or Disney blow for something, or vice versa, whatever, and it goes to VAR, and VAR makes a decision. The next thing Celtic's got a penalty. That's his pals that are going against him.
Exactly, Mark.
Do you get what I mean? There's even that coming into it, the wee kind of cliquey bit yet.
But that's precisely the point I was going to say to you. Yeah, or the bodies go to contradict each other, or looking at a different way, Mark. Do you think maybe they will look at the decisions because VAR is there now, Mark, and it's actually visible to the fans now that they can see it?
But we see it every week on the telly anyway, Paul.
Yeah, but the people in the stadiums don't, do they? Do you see them then, though, if you're in the stadium, like these bad tackles there, Mark, if you're kind of in the stadium?
No, but what they got to do? What's the fans going to do, even again? But I'm saying, I'm talking about like on a Saturday night and on a Sunday when we watch the highlight shows and when we're watching Sky and we can see replays after replays of stuff. Nothing. I don't see what's going to change.
Is there a big screen TV in Celtic Park, Mark? I don't know. Like, I'm just asking.
There are two of them. They're two big, massive ones, Paul.
Yeah.
Aye.
So you'd be able to sleep, but do they only show like replays of goals? Then, Mark, is it that a scored?
I don't know how that would go. If they would like the VAR decisions. I don't know if they would.
I've never been in it. I've never been in. I think, Mark, all that comes up on the screens is England. In England, Mark, is
a VAR
VAR decision checking potential penalty. So you don't actually see.
You don't see any.
We see that home. Yeah, we see that home. That's right. Yeah, we see that, but you actually don't see it.
Hi, Eddie. Thanks for coming in, Eddie. Nice to see you, bud.
In the stadium, like Tiny Tim, that is as well. Eddie.
Tiny Tim. Oh, is that who that is? Thanks
Yeah.
for coming in, bud. Thanks.
So we don't
But
actually see it,
that's
like,
it.
yeah.
Aye. And
You know?
we don't hear what they're talking about or anything like that. That happens in
And so the worst thing
rugby
is,
and that,
Mark,
didn't it?
it's a tough game to play your first game with VAR. Is the Hearts game. It'll be a test for VAR, knowing the tackles that Hearts will go in. And you know what, Mark? If we see results don't go away, I think with the Hearts game, we know what VAR is going to be like in Scottish football. You know, because what you're expecting hard tackles, dirty tackles from this Hearts team. It always has been, Mark. No matter what the manager is, Mark, that's just the way Hearts are as a club.
Aye,
you know
that's
what I mean?
that's just a style. It always
Yeah,
has been in that. But
I think, Mark, then we'll actually be able to see after one game, we'll be able to see what way VAR is going to go. Really, don't you? You know?
But it'll be like everything else, Paul. But opinions will change going game for game.
I can guarantee you, Mark, next Sunday we're not going to be talking about the Hearts game or the result. We're going to be talking about VAR next week.
Aye, and then it'll go 1 week. We'll get a penalty out of VAR going with our side, and obviously great. It's great that VAR. Thank God we brought that in. We needed that penalty today. And then the next week we'll concede a penalty and it'll be that VAR. All the Masons up in that gantry are they're conspiring against us.
That's why I'd like to see Chris Sutton, Mark, if BT would do the coverage, because Sutton would make a comment in VAR if there's a bad decision going, like, what camera is B-Son looking at here? Like, do you know what I mean?
I'd put Tom Boyd in charge of it.
Jesus Christ, he'd be down.
Imagine Tom Boyd in charge of VAR.
He'd be down the freaking field and everything, showing the players what they did. You know?
What was it he said? What was it he said tonight about walking in a field? Cramp or something like that, wasn't it?
Cramp. He did his back.
Aye, he done that was it. He
done his back walking the field. Walking the field. You know, the things that just comes out of him, like.
I love Tom Boyd on the Celtic TV.
He must be getting paid well, Mark. If he did his back and come on to Celtic TV tonight, you know.
No, I don't think
I was actually worried about Giamarcus tonight, Mark, when he went down there and there was no players around him.
That was a bit. He kind of got up.
I wonder, though, Mark, is he actually carrying?
And that's how he's no starting.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100%.
Yeah. Did he actually come off?
I can't mind off the top of my head, Paul.
He was on the hat trick, Mark. Did he come off against Hibs, Mark? Did he kind of pick up a slight injury against his? I actually don't think Giamarcus, Mark, at the moment is actually fully fit. You know, I really don't.
That would maybe explain a lot, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You off, Bobby? Right. Good night, Bobby. Thanks for joining
us. You always, like we saw the same with Cal McGregor, Mark. He went off, and there was no one around him. Do you know what I mean? You know, an injury like that, and remark was bound to happen to Cal McGregor the amount of games he's played.
Ridiculous, Paul. Ridiculous. Even for Celtic, Paul, I think it's ridiculous.
But hopefully, Mark, as you said, now that Ange can see he can play O'Reilly in there, that he knows.
Aye, there's other
Cal McGregor doesn't have to play 50, 60 games a season. Like, do you know what I mean? And then you have international football. What did he play 1 year, Mark, in the calendar year? He played over 100 games. 62 games or something like that?
60, something like that, aye. They're ready to put in need an XPL refs, etc. Eddie, that's the kind of way that I get doing. I've said it on here 100 times. I think the referees in the leagues should all be under UEFA rules. It should be UEFA that.
Do you know what Qatar did, Mark, for the World Cup? The fella Clattenburg, he left the Premier League to go off to Qatar before he's over now, I think 2 years. He actually went over there to introduce them to VAR, show the referees over there how to referee a game. There's
high standards kind of thing. Standards.
So they actually have a referee, Mark, who's an amateur over there in the World Cup with 4 linesmen, and they've tuned down the VAR system because they were trained for Clattenburg. There's no Scottish referee going to be in the World Cup this year.
No.
So
that's a drum I've beat for a long time, into it, Paul, about refs. It should be UEFA that are sorting that out and sending, whether it's Austria, have the levels right. You've got all the top leagues right, fair do, so you get them all sorted out. But why not send like Greek referees out to Scotland for a week and the Scottish referees are there, and then the Austrian
If they're any
referees are
good,
here
Mark,
for
they'll
a
be
week and
getting
they're there?
decent games in the Champions League, and they're not even getting that. They're not even
They
getting
don't even go in the
decent games,
register
Mark,
with UEFA now.
in the Nations League. Do you know what I mean?
And that
Who be the
would
top
take,
referee, Scotland, Mark? I think, is it Beta now was, I think, the most qualified, and Willie Cullum? They'd be about the
I'd
two.
say probably Column. I'd
Cullum,
probably say Column.
he'd be about the most senior down out the moment, didn't this? And to
I
be
would say
fair,
that.
I know Willie Cullum now, he's card friendly, Mark, but he's not the worst of them, really. Like, do you know what I mean? He kind of knows the fucking rules, though. Do you know what I mean? He
Again,
does
Paul,
give daft decisions, but
it's just
he does know.
incompetence, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
I don't like. I've said this to you before, Paul. I don't like you doing all the kind of conspiracy
Not
routes
at
and
all,
stuff like
no.
that. Because it's even no matter what. I think it just comes down to basic refereeing competence now. They might be biased in that. I'm not saying there are some referees are biased, but I still, because we've had Jonas on talking about stupid decisions in Dundee United games, and do you get what I mean? So it's not just Celtic games, it's not
Sure,
just
he was
Rangers
again
games.
complaining last night against. He was actually complaining against McLean, the referee we had at the weekend. Mark Jonas was.
It's not just like our games or Rangers games. There's these kind of stupid, crazy decisions. It's happening right throughout Scottish football.
Yeah,
And probably doing in England again. The England fans will be saying the same thing. But the good thing about that is doing in England, the referees.
Mark, if you have a bad game down in England, what was his name, Mark? That fella, the referee there, he's a baldy fella. I don't know, the fella Mason. So the fella Mason.
Aye.
Himself and his buddy then at the time was the fellow O'Reilly, the referee O'Reilly. Mason was up in the VAR and O'Reilly was on the pitch. I think that this was actually last season. They gave a bad decision. Mason gave a bad decision to Nick Riley, and two of them were suspended the following week. You know, so two of them didn't get the games because of their decision. And see, is it down to the fact, Matt, that we actually don't have enough referees in Scotland that we actually can't do that?
No, Paul, it's all the referees in Scotland come from like Lanarkshire. See where I stay, like Hamilton, Motherwell, Airdrie, Coatbridge, all the referees come from this area, and that's no right. See, down in England, if you're a Man United fan, you can't referee a Man United game.
Exactly, Mark.
And if you stay within the postcode, they even look at that kind of thing, where do you stay and stuff like that.
You have to tell who you supported in the game and everything down there, Mark, yeah.
And obviously that's going to be harder in Scotland because of how big Celtic and Rangers are. But we've not got any referees from up the north of Scotland or Edinburgh kind of direction. And they all seem to come about like this kind of neck of the woods here. And that's not a good thing at all.
And the biggest problem as well, Mark, is it's the same referees that get the Glasgow Derby. It's like Nick Walsh, Don Robinson. It was always Bobby Madden used to get it. Beaton, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I think the fella Nick Welch is kind of have to step into Bobby Madden's boots. He seems to be the one now taking the Glasgow Derbies, don't he?
Beaton he's became a bit a joke figure all round, really, isn't he?
Well, this is his own fault, Mark, because he's actually been investigated, isn't he, for shouting at rival fans there a couple of weeks back.
That's right, aye.
So he's actually been investigated at the moment because of that.
But I mean, there's got to be referees out with that area, Paul, because it's not. I mean, I'm not talking a big area. It's nowhere near Lanarkshire's not a big area, but it's just again, it all goes back to like Hugh Dallas and his kind of wee clique, and they've all got all these people that have gravitated towards him and his son, and they're extended kind of apart, and it's just they people. But you can't tell me there's no referees up in places like Aberdeen that would come down and they don't give a stuff about Celtic or Rangers. They'll come down and they'll referee a game just neutral. And if they make a mistake, they make a mistake, but nobody can accuse them of being a Fenian beer or an orange beer or anything like that.
I mean, what league puts a referee who trains you kids to get promoted to the Rangers Academy?
I know.
And lets him referee the biggest game in the country.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that happening with a Man United Liverpool game, or Real Madrid or Barcelona game or something like that?
But didn't it happen, Mark, in the Premier League? Was it 2 seasons ago? Arsenal were playing Liverpool, and the referee Farr was from London, and I think his family were not necessarily him, but his family were Spurs fans, and Arsenal kicked up a fuss about it. No, Arsenal Wenger actually was the manager, and
I can't mind that, Paul. But that probably could be a problem, didn't it?
Yeah, and he took it. He actually got taken off the match. They had to bring a referee in from Manchester, I think, to ref at that time. I remember that. Do you know what I mean? But Mark, then again, Mark, is this up to Celtic then is this what Ian Banker's there for? Should he be doing?
This goes back to
not necessarily Nicholson, Mark.
No, but this
would be your chairman's job, wouldn't this?
One of the AGMs a couple of years ago. I don't know if it's Phil Mack or James Forrest that keeps bringing it up my blog. In fact, it's Joe McHugh, is it, the guy on Twitter? Video Celts, maybe he's called.
Yeah.
And he keeps bringing it up that an AGM, I'm sure he keeps bringing up the banker and he quotes him saying, the refereeing is a concern to us. And that's it. Well, what have you done about it?
Yeah, well, we can't make the decisions for the Scottish FA and stuff.
But if he's come out and said that, well, it's a concern. But if you've got concerns about referees, I mean, Celtic I know for a fact they spoke to SFA and SPFL or referees and that, but they've not pushed it. They've just said...
we spoke to them, yeah.
They've spoken about
to
it.
That could be, what's the story to referees? And
the refereeing standards, what can we do to improve them? That could be them talking about it. Doesn't mean they're actually pulling them up about anything.
It's like meeting someone in the street, Mark, and having a conversation with someone in the street in the hallway. Do you know what I mean? In the Scottish Shave Grounds, and the banker probably sees that and just mentions the referees, and we look into that.
But even look at a board meeting, the SPFL board of that, like even Michael Nicholson maybe brought it up. Just says we need to kind of maybe look at the refereeing and that, look at even the bad press it's getting the full league, blah 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 blah. But that doesn't mean that they're actually actively doing anything about it. And that's what should be happening. There's no point in just talking about it. You need to get something done about it. One of the things that I don't, this again goes back, Paul, to how parochial and silly and that maybe some of the kind of rivalry with us and Rangers is. See, if Rangers think the referees are that bad and Celtic thinks the referees are that bad, get together and get good referees.
Yeah, exactly, Mark.
Do you get what I mean?
Mark, that's the problem.
If you agree, I mean, is a good referee somebody that's going to give everything Celtic's right against Rangers?
See, that's the problem, Mark.
No.
The two clubs would sit down, right? They'd talk about the referees but you'd see their fan base then go, oh no, this is all favour for Celtic now, and we're helping Celtic get their referees into the game. So that's exactly Mark is going to...
the Celtic fans that would say the same thing, or what we're talking to them for, we're just going to end up with maybe their referees in.
Yeah, I mean, why can
the two of them not get together and say, here, the referee not appears shocking, do you agree on that? Do you get what I mean? The two of them talk, I agree on that. Well, how about trying to get foreign referees in? Would that be an option for us?
Was it the Hamilton manager, Mark, got banned for 8 games? Was it? Because he complained. And
Billy Reid for complaining about a ref.
Yeah, and Jim Goodwin then getting bad over calling the play cheat for, you know what I mean? This
Porteous, wasn't it? But there's no accountability for referees, Paul. They're never asked.
I think that's one of the biggest problems, Mark. They should be accounted for their position, their decisions. If
you interview managers, you interview players after games. Why is a referee not allowed to be standing in front of a camera and be asked to say, like,
why did you send him off? Yeah,
three questions for a reporter, right? Do you get what I mean? 3 questions for a reporter. Just that's what it takes. And
exactly,
even if
Mark, because
go to them, or even say, right, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I'll get 2 for one manager and 2 for another, and I'll ask you them live on air, and you explain your decisions.
And then he could say, explain the decision. Well, this is the view I had, and this is how I saw it. And then, Mark, you take as that was his view. Do you get me? But not this blatant, stupid decisions that they're giving. Like, do you know what I mean?
There's no accountability. They don't get. I mean, you never hear a referee getting, he's up in front of his bosses on Monday because he missed a blatant red card or something like that. There's no accountability. There's really no punishment for having a honking game as a referee. And that's that's a big problem in the Scottish game, Paul. It really is.
I think, Mark's across the board, really, with UEFA. The referees in football seem to be untouchable. Like, you know, when you hear the referee in rugby having the conversation with your officials, taking the video assistance. Do you know what I mean? You know, you hear the conversation in the stadium, what's been said, why they're giving it, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
There's too many referees as well, Paul, that want to be the centre of attention.
Yeah, they want to be making a name for themselves. Yeah.
Everything's got to be about them. Do you get what I mean? It's
spoiling the game, Mark, isn't it?
Aye.
You know, do you remember that disaster we had with the two linesmen on the fucking sidelines that time? Remember that? Behind the goals. Jesus Christ.
Oh, aye, the cup was in the cup.
Yeah.
In the cup final, wasn't it?
And they did in Europe. Remember that time in Europe when Boris gave away the penalty against Barcelona and he got the ball and it was the referee behind the goal that gave the penalty.
Oh, aye, right.
Remember that? And he got the ball that time.
What happened to them? Where did you guys go?
I don't know. They did, I presume, fucking the goal line technology replaced them, weren't they? You know. Jesus, I know, Mark. It's not football, Mark, the way we grew up anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, like you can't even. I used to get battered in goal. Do you know what I mean? You can't even touch a keeper now. A keeper now, Mark, could fall on the floor and he'll get a free out. You know,
that's how Joe Hart should come out for the ball, Mayor Paul.
Exactly, Mark.
The level of protection goalkeepers get these days.
He's a big lad, like. You know, he's a big lad, Mark. I don't know, Mark. Do you think maybe because of his age now, right? Is Joe Hart afraid to pick up an injury? Come out like that, Mark, in between a cluster of players, afraid to get an injury, Mark, then, like, and he could be out for the season, like he's not getting any younger. You think maybe that could be in his head? As a goalkeeper, I think something like that could be in his head, Mark. That's why he won't come into a cluster of players.
That's a good point, Paul. Well, maybe.
You know,
fair dues to him if it is, but he should be but he should be wiser. And he's been. Do you get what I mean? He's been about the game that long, Paul. He should know that if I go for that, it's a foul. If I lose it, it's just been. It's like what would you been like a bit cute into being a wee bit cute about playing the game kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. Because like. There's some crosses there we've seen throughout Joe Hart since he's been here, and there's been no one in his 6-yard box that he should become, and we concede goals then at the back post because of it. But Joe Hart is still kind of a standstill in the centre of his box. They're going, like, really, that's your area?
Aye, see in this day and age, Paul, right? See if you were playing the game the day the way you're talking about how you get treated when you played in goal, but see anything in that 6-yard box, you're going to go for that, knowing that if I miss that and even fall down and let out a scream, even if nothing's wrong with me, I'm going to get a foul. But that's Mark, the kind of basically.
I'm only 5'5", 5'6". I'm tiny, like, and I used to have two players on top of me that time because they knew I was tiny. But if I jumped, I'm still bigger than them because of my hands. Do you get me? You know.
Aye.
You mean I would never catch the ball in the air, Mark, because I knew that wasn't my strongest point. But I could punch it to the back post, out for another corner, or I'd punch it out to the wings. Do you get me?
Aye,
you don't necessarily have to catch the ball, Mark.
Exactly. You know? In this day and age, but Paul, even you getting up for that ball and you missing it, the chances are you're going to get a free kick.
Mark.
If one of these big burly strikers is pushing into you, touches you, that's you right away.
Protection now, Mark. Yeah, it's protection now. Like for the keeper is unbelievable. Like, so that'd be my only thinking, Mark, why Joe Hart doesn't come out for those corners is that he's afraid
the risk
of an injury at his age. Do you know what I mean? Like if he picks up, we say if he picks up,
if it's a bad injury, that could be
if he
career-ending
picks up
for
a
him.
serious injury, Mark, like with his age, like is he going to recover from that? Like is he going to recover fast? Like you know what I mean? We saw with
he's still doing a good enough job anyway, isn't it?
Mark, he's outstanding. Like I mean,
he makes a wee odd couple of mistakes, but he's done a hell of a lot more. He's done a hell of a lot more good than he has bad for us.
You see
one of the best signings,
the confidence as well, Mark. Not just coming into the back line, but you see confidence again coming back into Joe Hart, knowing that Vickers is in front of him, and he's behind Vickers. You see the whole partnership between them all, Mark.
That we connection between them
all.
Yep, spot on.
You know that
I think Joe Hart has. He's been, for me, definitely, Paul, for the money we pay for him and that, he's been one of the best signings Ange's made.
Mark, he's a shot stopper, Mark. Do you know what I mean? Like those saves there, Mark, he shouldn't be making those saves. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, and look to where we were. You know, he is.
Big Barkas is doing well too, isn't he?
Mark, he's a prime example, Mark, of look at a Yessi, Mark. Standard Liège, bagged in the goals over there.
Has he? I've not checked.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he scored 2 goals. Then now getting to the weekend.
Barkas no 3 Man of the Match award or something? I'm sure somebody told me that.
Yeah.
I don't get us wrong. He'll not be back at Celtic. That team will buy him. See the form he's shown for them.
I won't think he wants to come back, Mark.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's born bridges now with Celtic as well himself, like the way he was doing the warm-ups and stuff like that, Mark.
I wouldn't be surprised, Paul, if it's a kind of quick flip. That team that he's way there in Holland buys him and they sell him at the same window.
Yeah, could be, boy. Something that happened with Jack Henry, sure. They bought him for 1 million, Mark, and sold him for about 7 or 8. Do you know? I still wouldn't have Henry, Mark, in this Celtic team. I wouldn't trust Henry as far as I throw him. There's a mistake.
There's a new wee name in the chat, Kaiser, HTTC.
The refs should be professionals and paid well. You see, the referees in Scotland, Mark, are actually amateur referees, and they're not professional referees.
They're only part-time, Paul. Aye, they're still only part. I mean, one of them's a Tory MP.
Should they be full-time so, Mark, and trained properly? Yeah.
One of them's a Tory MP, do you know what I mean?
Did he get caught with kind of taxes or something recently, did he?
Oh, I don't know.
MP fella?
Probably. For all, aye, they might as well, aye.
And back then, like,
everybody
in the match then at the weekend, Mark, then, like, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Jesus Christ.
Absolute crazy behaviour.
I mean, like, Jesus Christ. And I heard he's a Rice. He's with the Protestant party, isn't he? The Tories, isn't he?
Aye. Aye, a wee Union Jack Waver kind of one of the ones.
Jesus Christ, man. You ever had the likes of it, by fucking hell. Like, we've an amateur league here, and I would actually, and I said loads of times here, Mark, I see better standards of refereeing in the Munster League here than I do of in that Scottish football.
Aye, probably.
You know, I really, really do, like, you know what I mean? You know?
Aye,
like,
some of the decisions during games and that, Paul, just absolute baffles you. It just baffles you.
I could just picture a comedy sketch doing the referee course over in Scotland, pick up the whistle and blow it. You know, I could just picture that as their training.
They've probably done them, but they're wearing orange sashes in that as well. There'll be a
and marching up and down the sideline.
Only an excuse will have done something like that lately.
Jesus Christ, by marching up and down the sideline to the beats of the Protestant drum. You know, Jesus Christ, man. You know, would you change, Mark, what would you change for Saturday before we go? Would you kind of, like, this seems to be kind of a win in form now again, Mark. You know, we seem to be back in. I think we need to bring in for this game, if he's not carrying injury, Mark. But I don't know, Mark, is he? Because he didn't. I always concern, Mark, when a player gets injured with his known. And I know he came back on and stuff like that. But if he's fit, G. Marcus has to play for me, Mark.
Oh, I definitely. Definitely got to go. But I don't think he will, Paul. It'll be Kyogo again that starts. It'll probably again against Hearts. He's going to go with Taylor at left back, isn't he, for the physical side of things.
Ivanovic. I think the back four will be the same. Hart.
Aye.
I think he'll go Moy, O'Reilly Hayat again, Mark. I think that
I
seems to be
think
his
so as
consistent
well.
thing. Yeah,
I think I've probably Paul. I'm probably be the same team as tonight. Really,
I'll go that team, Mark. Just like I think he has to start the bad, Mark. I know Forrest is thing, but we've always said, Mark, Forrest will be a bit part player. He'll come in, he'll do a job for us when needed. Is he going to be a regular starter? No, he's not.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
definitely
So
no.
in a game, Mark, where like Hart, I don't think Hart will sit back, Mark. I think Hart will make space for us as well. Like they'll push up in Celtic as well. There'll be space for a bad there as well. Like
they'll be right in about us as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Again, I was going to say I'd like to see Abelgar starting, but it's not going to happen. There's not really any point even to get what I mean talking about it because we know that it's not going to happen.
No.
It's going to be a Riley, Hattati, and Moy. That'll be the midfield three.
That'll be the three, and if he's fit, I know he's going to start Kyogo, Mark. You can kind of predict that now. Like, you know what I mean? He got his goal tonight, and you might think that now was a confidence boost to Kyogo. Keep him in the team now. He might get another one. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Aye.
You know? Oh, Mark,
he was unlucky not to get another couple. All right, there, Joseph. Evening, Joseph. Nice to see you in. Connor,
but they're bad misses, Mark.
There's a new name there. Hi,
Connor.
Nice to see you, bud.
The problem I have with Kyogo, Mark, is they're bad misses. They're not hard misses. They're easy misses that he's missing.
I know.
I mean, these are misses, Mark. We were saying
when
Edward
offside,
wanted to leave the club, weren't they?
Aye, but see, even if they were offside, Paul, even if he was offside, it's still chances that he should be putting away.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean?
Exactly.
Whether it's onside, offside, it's still chances that should be in the end up in the back of the net.
Exactly.
Because some of them are just that kind of blatant, really, isn't it?
They are, Mark. They're really well. At least tonight and Hibs, Mark. We take away the result. The main positive for me there is, Mark, we're getting more shots and targets rather than the old 2 or 3 shots with 20 shots and goal, only 2 in target. You get me? At least we seem to be getting back up to the 9s and 10s again. That we're getting these shots and targets. Next step now, Mark, is getting them in the goal. You know?
Aye, but I mean, overall, again, Paul, I thought it was a great performance overall.
Oh, definitely,
massive.
Mark.
Again, a big improvement on what we've seen. Good win at the weekend. We've kept that going tonight. It was a wee bit maybe a struggle for the first half hour, just breaking Motherwell down, but we broke their back and then
I think, Mark, I think, Mark, that what I said earlier, like I think the Champions League results was affecting the team because if you're playing well, Mark, right, but you're missing chances. You especially the Donetsk game.
It kind of gets to you. It gets to you,
Mark. Especially that, because I said to you, Mark, when we drew that game, that was 2 points dropped. You know, we should have won that game. And I think ever since that Donetsk, I think the players knew, Mark, that since that Donetsk draw, Mark, we start sliding. You know, so are we just better off?
We should have beat them.
Yeah, are we just better off, Mark? Maybe being out of Europe now. All right, just come out of Europe, come out of Europa League.
I don't think we're going to have much choice.
Yeah, we don't have choice, but concentrate in the league, Mark. Next year, then, Mark, this group of players will have more experience again in the Champions League. Like, let's not forget, Mark, it is a very young team. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like, these fellas never played in, I think, the biggest games you could really pick Abada for, Mark, is the Israeli under 21s. He's only kind of been in a regular with the Risley team, Mark, the last couple of friendlies, really. Do you know what I mean?
It's for a lot. I mean, even like Paul, what we call star players. We've said it before, Paul. They're star players with Celtic, but there are no many players at Celtic they knew that would get into any of the two. Apart maybe no Shack. Right, take Shakhtar out of it, but right, there's not a Celtic player that would get in the Real Madrid team. And could you pick a Celtic player that would get in the Leipzig team?
No, Mark, you wouldn't really, would you?
Do you know what I mean? You really, and that's the thing. It's like we going right. Jota's been a wee bit off form. We spoke about it, Paul. About that was one of the things, his decision making. That's kind of.
And you could see that now, Mark, can't you?
Aye, but see if he didn't, if that wasn't a kind of, no saying a problem, if that wasn't a negative in his game, he wouldn't be at Celtic.
Do you know what I see in Jota, Mark? Is Ronaldo when he first came to United. The kind of
that's a statement and a half, man.
Yeah, but do you remember when Ronaldo first came to United, Mark? He tried to take on the whole team. He tried to do all these flicks, and you see these things now creeping into Jota's game, trying to do these flicks, trying to take on 3 or 4 players.
You're buying into your own hype, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think all this talk at the time, Mark, is saying he's the best player in the league. Actually, did it make him more of a confident? You get me?
Aye,
you know?
I know what you mean.
Believe that himself, Mark. Then, and that's why then, Mark, he started going on to take on these 3 or 4 players, trying to get that magnificent. No, don't get me wrong, Mark. He does score brilliant goals for us, but there's a time to shoot and there's a time to pass. I always say it was the same with Mickey Johnston, and I'm not comparing Mickey Johnston to Jota. That's just off the wall to compare that. But we said the same about Mickey Johnston, Mark.
General decision making. When to pass it, when to try and take your man on, when to have a shot. But see, when Jota does learn that, Paul, that's when he'll move on for Celtic.
But Mark, what did you say about Mickey Johnston since last season? A loan deal for Mickey Johnston, a good run of games.
Mickey Johnston's it maybe help Mickey Johnston. It's not got to help Celtic, Paul.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, for his own career, Mark, to move away from Celtic, Mark. Get these run of games. Get his career back. He's not going to have a career at Celtic, Mark. I'm not saying that, but for himself, Mark, he needed to move away from Celtic.
Can somebody else get rid of that?
I don't know. I can't. Can you delete it? What's that? Tinder hot. Someone's after crashing us today.
I think that's it now.
Can you delete it? I can't delete it on my side at all.
I think that's that away now on YouTube looking at it.
Jesus Christ. Jabba, what are you doing on the beach?
I blocked it altogether there.
That's Jabba. Jabba's on the beach.
Aye. I think that's removed.
He gave it all link to the podcast instead of giving his number to the Tinder site.
Must be doing something right, Paul, when we're getting the things, the adverts. That means your people are kind of, what is it they call it, bots. It's like programs set up to go on channels that are kind of getting looked at then and that. I'll message them later and see if we can set us up any freebies, Paul.
I don't want no fucking vibe with that. You know,
I think that's that blocked anyway. You don't want stuff like that.
We leave it there anyway. Sure.
Aye.
We'll be back again at Sunday night. 6:30 bells, I think, Mark, is the due time. I think 6:30.
I think so. Aye.
Hopefully, I hope not, Mark, but I know it's more than likely we're going to be sitting here next Sunday talking about VAR.
Vatican assistant referee.
It's going to be like Sky Sports and Paul Merson predicting Harry Kane's going to fucking bomb Munich. Pissed off his head live in here. You know, he's an awful state, Mark. He's indeed. Jesus Christ. Paul Merson.
Who?
Paul Merson.
Oh, aye. Complete idiot, man.
We'd be like him now trying to explain VAR to people pissed drunk.
I'll be right. We'll be trying. We'll just be sitting. As I said, 1 week we'll be like, "That VAR's a great thing," isn't it? And then the next week we'll be raging about it. I'll tell you one thing. It'll be interesting, Paul. It will be. And
I'm looking forward to watching the game, Mark, just for VAR to see how it works in Scotland.
But you know what's going to happen as well, Paul? There's going to be, see, once VAR comes in and the kind of rules get sussed out, there's going to be Celtic fans, there's going to be Rangers fans going on about, I see if VAR had been in earlier on in the season, we'd have done this and we'd have done that.
That was sending off.
It's a bit snidey bringing it even halfway through a season.
Stupid,
really
Mark.
it is, but
it really is stupid. Like, so my thing is like,
it's just amateur decision making, Paul, for the SPFL.
Yeah, like the teams obviously had the money, Mark, if they were able to get VAR in early. Do you get me? You know? Did I hear you before, Mark, was that they wanted Celtic to use some of their profits to put VAR into the lower teams in the league. Did I read something about that as well before? Did I?
I think there was a while ago about something, Paul.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything came yet.
Jesus.
But one of the things is, Paul, if your game's on Sky, you've got 12 cameras or something.
Yeah.
And if you're no on Sky, you've only got 6 cameras outside Celtic
Well, we should
Rangers.
still have a few cameras left on Mark there anyway for the because I think if you're playing the Champions League or the Europa League, Mark, and if the VAR is implemented, Mark, the cameras are left there. They stay there. They stay within the club.
Is that no BT's cameras they use?
No, a lot of time the club then would we say pay?
No, no.
I thought
it's not as if Celtic TV have their own cameras at a game and Sky have their own cameras at a game in that, Paul.
I thought VAR cameras are not separate to the television cameras, though, are they? Are they all the same?
To be honest, Paul, I thought VAR was just like now Sky. If Sky's showing the game, they've always got these cameras there.
No, I always thought VAR was separate cameras too.
Well, how come if it's on the telly, you've got more cameras at it then? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Up here, that's what they're saying. It no, if your game's on Sky or whatever, I'm sure it said 12, and if it's no on Sky, there's only 6. So there's another complaint.
What's this thing? Yeah, what's this thing Mickey was saying as well? This partial VAR thing. What's all that about? It's either VAR or not VAR.
I know, I wasn't too sure about that, but I did read that. It's no. Again, it's not what we think it's going to be. That's what it basically boils down to, Paul. It really is. For me, it's a kind of just poke it with a stick and see what happens with it. That's what it's going to be like for the next couple of months, I think. Well, obviously, next couple.
I can just picture a fella now in Scotland, down in the Dundee versus Kilmarnock, a fella with a big, huge, old-fashioned camcorder, taking pictures, recording, and then bring the video up to the fucking VAR referee, then to rewind it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I can just picture. That's what I picture as partial VAR.
Del Boy's camera. Del Boy's a big the big Russian ones.
Big huge thing over the shoulder. Do you know what I mean? You know, that's what I picture partial VAR is like, you know. And then he's trying to rewind it then and send it up to the VAR officials. We leave it there tonight, lads. Thanks very much for joining us, everyone. Mark, we close the show.
Right, brilliant, Paul. Thanks very much again, bud. Everybody that joined us, we hope you enjoyed it. Everybody that listens in, we hope you enjoy it as well. Look at our description box and get involved with us, with our Discord, our forum and stuff like that. You're all more than welcome. If you know how, please leave a comment, hit the like button, and please share it about the social media and that. Hail, good night, and God bless.